You hear Alibaba, you think Jack Ma, right? It's automatic. But behind the story of this global e-commerce giant is another figure, someone who is, maybe, even more important. Today, we're diving into the story of the woman Jack Ma himself says was more critical to his success than the company he built.
Okay, let this one sink in for a second. This is a direct quote from Jack Ma. The most important decision of my life was not founding Alibaba, but choosing Zhang Ying as my wife. Now, that's not just some sweet romantic thing to say. He meant it, like strategically. So why was this one single decision so absolutely critical to building a global empire?
Well, to really get it, we have to go all the way back to the beginning, to a university romance where a totally average student somehow won the heart of a campus legend. So picture this. It's the early 80s at Hangzhou Normal University. Zhang Ying, she was basically a campus celebrity, known for her intelligence, great at her studies. People considered her a legendary figure. And Jack Ma? Well, he was described as pretty average in almost every way, except for two things. His English skills were phenomenal, and he had this just unshakable confidence. So you gotta wonder, what did she see in him? Well, Zhang Ying herself summed it up perfectly. He can do things that handsome men cannot. She saw right past the surface and spotted this unique drive. He even once told her that a man's appearance has a negative correlation with his intelligence. I mean, you gotta appreciate that kind of confidence, right? It clearly worked. And that belief she had in him, it would become the most important investment he ever received. This is where she becomes his ultimate first investor, in a story that's all about belief, life savings, and one incredibly high-stakes gamble. So here's how their journey played out. They meet in college, and by 88, they're married, both working as English teachers. Pretty standard stuff. But then, 1995 hits. This is the moment. Mei wants to quit his stable job for this wild internet idea, and Zhang, she invests their entire family's savings into it. Just 4 years later, boom, Alibaba is born, and she's right there in the core founding team. And even though her official role ended in 2002, her impact was already permanent. And look, her support wasn't just, a pat on the back. It was foundational. She was his first and honestly his most crucial investor. We're talking about putting every single penny they had on the line for his first company, China Pages. And when everyone else was calling it a scam, who was in his corner? She was. So long before any venture capitalists or board members came along, there was just Zhang Ying's unwavering belief. That was his real seed funding. So when Alibaba finally got off the ground, she didn't take a back seat. Not at all. She took on one of the most vital roles in the entire company. She became its political commissar, the anchor who held the whole team together. So what on earth is a political commissar in a tech startup? Yeah, it's not a title you're gonna find on LinkedIn. The way Jack Ma described it, she was the team's emotional core. In those chaotic, high-stress early days, her job was to provide stability, reassurance, and motivation when things got really, really tough. She was, simply put, the glue. And she wasn't just a cheerleader, she did everything. She was the logistics chief, managing operations, and getting payroll done. She was team support, and I mean literally, she cooked meals for the entire founding team in their apartment. She was the morale officer, motivating everyone, including her own husband. And all the while, she was the family anchor, raising their son right in the middle of all that startup chaos. But as Alibaba grew into this absolute behemoth, Zhang Yang made a choice that stunned a lot of people. She chose a different kind of fortune, putting her family way ahead of the corporate empire she helped build. In 2002, just as Alibaba was really taking off, Zhang quit her job as general manager. The reason was deeply personal. Her 10-year-old son had gotten addicted to online games. She recognized a problem at home that was more important than any problem at the office, and she stepped away to solve it. Now, to really put that decision into perspective, let's just look at the numbers. Jack Ma's net worth is valued at over $30 billion US. That is the scale of the financial empire she was so instrumental in creating, and she walked away from a senior role right as it was about to explode. Because her real fortune, her legacy, it isn't measured in dollars. It's defined by character, the resilience to back a risky dream, the humility to do whatever it took to help the team, the quiet sacrifice to put her family first, and of course, that unwavering belief that made it all possible in the first place. It really leaves you with a question, doesn't it? In any great success story, where does the balance sheet end and where does the true partnership begin?